I just wanted to do a quick screen recording. This is gonna be the beginning of my video. I want to show y'all why I don't really go to church anymore, because I don't feel like we should have to go to church to be in touch with our heavenly Father. And I feel like they should know all the truths that they're speaking to us and actually believe in them. But this is why I feel like you should. I mean, I'm not saying every church is bad, but religion is man-made and church is ran by men. So you have to just know where you're going and know who you're going listen to. And so if you can see on the screen right now, well, let me tell y'all, it's Sunday, 8:31, and it's December 16th, 2018. So I thought this was pretty interesting. They have a list of priests accused of sexual abuse are spilling out across the country. This is in the U.S. This was December 14th, 2018. Vatican expels two cardinals implicated in sexual abuse from Pope's council. And American priest is accused of molesting boys in Philippines. I mean, it's all over the place. And you can see how these people, they preach this doctrine, and watch out for who you listen to and what kind of truths you're listening to, because make sure that their actions and their what they say and what they believe in is actually truthful and loving and peaceful and forgiving and all those things that I always talk about. I'm gonna keep going over them steadily because that's what I believe in, and that's what Jesus. And I try to find YouTube videos and other different stuff that kind of teaches his teachings, and I try to find people who are in line with him. And that's why I want to do that's why I'm doing my own videos, because I want to show other people that that is the way we need to start moving. And so my last video, I was talking about Atlas and Atlantis, and I thought this was funny. So I'm be in the rest of this video, I'm gonna talk about, I have these things set up. I'm gonna probably do it tomorrow, but I just want to start this off because it is the 16th and I got to this point. So Aquaman, December 21st comes out. Bumblebee, and if you know anything about the hive mind and different stuff like that, then they got some other ones that I just thought were pretty whatever. Second act, I don't know really what that's about. Welcome to Marwin. This is about Steve Carroll making his he got bullied or whatever. I think this is based on a true story, and he makes his own little world with these plastic people. Bird Box, Swing Kids, Vox Lux, American Renegades, Cold War, and this is a funny one, Between Worlds with Nicolas Cage, and then Zero. So I don't know too much about the rest of these, but the main thing I wanted to get into was, let me exit out of the, oh, maybe I shouldn't have exited out, but show the connection of, I didn't know why I included Atlas in the last video, but that kind of is going to come up in this video. But if you can see, it says in this week in history, I just looked this up, Bethlehem changes hands, and in 1995 Bethlehem became the sixth West Bank city to come under Palestinian rule in accordance with the Oslo Accords. And this was published December 16th, 2012 at 13 and then 20. So that's 120, I mean. So I just want to make sure I put this at the beginning of the video just to show y'all that I thought this was pretty interesting. And so this is a little article. It talks about in a simple ceremony on December 22nd, 1995, Major General blah blah blah, they hand over with some 45,000 residents, they hand over to Palestinian rule. So I just thought that was interesting. About 6 years ago this was made, and that would make, let me see, this in 1995, so that'd be 23 years ago. which is kind of weird. 23 years ago, wait, am I saying that right? 23 years ago, my bad. I didn't think about that before I made this, but that was 23 years ago that Jerusalem was handed over to, I mean, not Jerusalem, I'm sorry, that's a Jerusalem Post, but Bethlehem was handed over to Palestinian from Israel. So I just found that very interesting. I talked about that in a earlier video with the different meanings of that, but so yeah, I just want to, I'm probably going to add this video to the beginning of my longer video, but I want to record this on the 16th so y'all understood why I thought the post was pretty important. But I'll get into the rest of these tabs probably tomorrow. Hey brothers and sisters, this is gonna be the extra video on what I was gonna add, but I changed my plans of what I was gonna talk about. So it is Friday, and my computer keeps messing up. I'm looking at my videos now, and a lot of them have like skips and different bits and pieces that are getting missed. But it's nothing I can really do about it unless I just go back and make brand new videos, and hopefully it doesn't do that. But and I can't. I'm not good at editing, so it's just been me uploading videos straight after I'm done making them, or whenever I get a chance. So it's Friday, December 21st, 2018, and I was gonna get into the 2012 phenomenon, and this was the cataclysmic or otherwise transformative events would occur on around 21st December 2012. And so that's why I thought the December 16th, 2012 like article with about Bethlehem 23 years ago was that happened 23 years ago. That article happened in 2012. But I thought that was pretty interesting how that was a little adding up. 6 years ago the article was made, and 23 years ago Bethlehem was traded over from Israel to Palestinian control. And I talked about this in the other videos. So they actually thought it was an interaction between Earth and the black hole at the center of the galaxy, or Earth's collision with a mythical planet called Nibiru. And I had a video I talked about Nibiru and stuff like that. But I'm not trying to cause fear in anybody or anything, but I just thought this today was something important. Or something like I was being drove to look for something this day, and earlier this morning, probably about 2 a.m., 3 a.m., I started actually getting into some research, because recently I bought this, I don't know when it was, I think it was either Tuesday or maybe Wednesday. Instead of making a video and doing stuff, or making a video and trying to research, I went go buy some stuff for Christmas, and I'm going to Colorado Sunday. So, but I bought this shirt, and it's a Michael Scott Paper Company shirt. It's from The Office, the movie The Office, or the TV series The Office, and it says serving Scantron's paper needs since 2009. And I thought that was kind of weird, but I was looking around, and I've never read this book right here, but it's my brother's, and it was right here, and it said on the edge, it says Scott right here. That kind of interested me because I just bought this shirt, so I just opened it up to a random page and I start reading it. It's talking about like William Shakespeare and different gods like Odin and Osiris, and I was like, whoa, what is this book? And so it's written by a dude named Michael Scott, which is the main character of the TV show. Here, I might come back to this. So this is Steve Carell in Welcome to Marwen. So this is where he's like making a plastic reality for himself to escape real life because was bullied or beat up or something like that. But it's important because he's in this TV show. That's his name's Michael Scott in the Office TV show, which was crazy. So that's that connection from December 21st. His movie came out today, technically came out today, Welcome to Marwen, that he stars in. But I was going to talk about Aquaman and Atlas and stuff like that, and the 2012 phenomenon and different dates and time frames of from different stuff. But I don't think I'm going to talk about that today. I think I'm going to talk about this and get into a couple different Michael Scotts and different things that kind of tie into everything. So this book was written in or published in 2009 right here. Copyright 2009 by Michael Scott. And I just thought that was interesting. So I started looking up and start looking at different things. And so Steve Carell in this movie is he's kind of a kid. He can't grow up. And if y'all read this, it gives you a basic summary of the whole series with what he is. He's just let's see. Let me give you a little. I don't know. It's kind of. He's not really socially accepted, and he feels like he has to say stuff and do stuff that he shouldn't, and a lot of the stuff is either racist, sexist, or whatever you want to go with. So, but definitely check this out. But the main thing is, I think this is the author, huh? Yeah, Sorcerers. So, it's an Irish author that's named Michael Scott, which is what I just showed you. That's his book, The Sorceress, The Secrets of the Immortal, which, if you know by now, we're all immortal. If technically our body, our physical body isn't, but our spiritual body, the soul is. And so Scott traveled across Ireland as a dealer of rare and antique books before beginning his writing career. So he probably knows a lot about old books and old tales, and he's sometimes confused with author. This is where I start getting into these other people, but author Michael Scott Rowan, Irish architect Michael Scott, and more recently in the United States with the character Michael Scott in the television The Office. And if I'm not mistaken, no, that's the other Michael Scott. I'll talk about the other Michael Scott. But he creates the secrets of the immortal Nicholas Flamel. And so, let's see, let's get into... So these are young adult books, and they're talking about gods and goddesses and just all kind of other stuff. And so this is the one I have right here, The Sorceress. But then I want to just look at 2012. The Sorceress was made in 2009. So I was thinking about the 2012. So I look at this one that was made in 2012, The Enchantress, and I start looking it up. And it's crazy because, let me find this. So I like Game of Thrones, and I just bought this beanie, and I bought a little vest for my dog, and it has this the same day I bought the Michael Scott shirt. I have this. It has a dragon on it, a three-headed dragon, because in the TV series Game of Thrones, one of the people is a mother of dragons, and she called a whole bunch of other things, Khaleesi and stuff like that. So she has three dragons, or yeah. So she starts off with three dragons, and see right here it says whatever these people name is, Saint Germain, Shakespeare, and Palamedes fight the final battle along with the twins. Osiris and Isis admit that Sophie and Josh aren't their children. Josh was found in a Neanderthal camp around the fall of Danutalus, and Sophie was found in Russia in the 9th or 10th century, 30,000 years after. And they transform into their dragon-like true forms, revealing that they aren't elders but truly ancient beings called Earth Lords, while stating their true goal was to use the twins' auras to form a portal to the earliest days of Earth so they can summon the other Earth Lords to this timeline and have them feed on all worlds. After defeating the pair, I'm not going to try, presents them with the tablets from Abraham the Mage. Completing the prophecy, twins with the auras of silver and gold, a brother and sister with the power to either save the world or destroy it. Sorry about that. And they defeat them. He sits on the center of the pyramid of the sun, reads the codex, discovering Sophie lead the survivors onto the new Earth and assist them for several hundred years before returning to the present time. He then combines the 4 swords of power. So if y'all have been watching my other videos, it's kind of crazy, but Clarion, Excalibur, Durandal, and Joyce to create the 5th power, Either. And so, or Aether, whatever. And I thought this was interesting because I knew it wasn't. It didn't. I just took the A off of it, but they even add the A in Greek. But it's to burn, shine, and it's from upper air, from the base of Athenian, burn, shine. Originally, the word denoted a substance believed to occupy space beyond the sphere of the moon. Since 3 arose in the mid 17th century and 1 since the mid 18th century. I just thought that was pretty interesting to add in with that. The swords form a hook, revealing that Josh is Marathu, hence revealing the reason why characters have always thought Marathu seemed familiar. He plunges his hook into the center of the pyramid of the sun, speaking aloud the last words, and he reads in the codex, "Today I become death, the destroyer of worlds," and thereby destroying Danu falls. On Alcatraz, Nicholas and Perrine spend their last moments together, content. They fly to Paris, or Josh takes them to Paris, and apparently for the Flammels to die. But in a letter reveals he and the Flammels were present at a wedding and restored their health sight and makes them immortal again. But maybe he used necromancy. And they lived happily ever after with Earth saved. I just like I said, I don't believe in the destruction of the world unless our leaders actually do that in World War III. Well, hopefully that doesn't come to it, but I think there is a great awakening, which is the great reveal or the great apocalypse, which people have a false idea of. It wasn't, at first it was to uncover, to reveal. It wasn't this big destruction of the world and stuff. So that's why I think is the original meaning and the original thing that will happen. Everybody will wake up and understand like who they are and what they are and be able to hopefully leave this construct that we're prisoned in. But if not, then you still know that your heavenly Father is not the person running this world, and that you're his son or daughter, and we're all brothers and sisters in this tribulation. So you know that as long as you have the seal of God in your head, you have nothing to worry about, and you have more faith in more things that are not seen than seen. So you understand that sometimes things have to happen in a way that you might not understand or be able to comprehend or accept. But I digress. And so this is another one of the Michael Scotts that was being talked about. It's a Scottish fantasy and science fiction author and writer on opera. I'm not going to get too much into it. It's just interesting what he's writing about. So he had a number of short stories published. His first books, Run to the Stars, and the nonfiction First Bite, and then collaborated with Hammer and the Cross, an account of Christianity arriving in Vikings lands. not confused with Harry Harrison's similar theme, not trilogy of the same name. And the fantasy novels The Ice King and Spell of Empire, which is best known for the Ice Age set trilogy, Winner of the World, and also wrote the Spiral novel and Spiral mythic and legendary versions of familiar cities and countries and continents. I'm gonna stop it right here. I gotta go do something right quick, but I'll finish this video with. I'll just add another video and tack it on. But hopefully I don't have any skips or problems with this one. And definitely go check out these people's works. Him and this one, he got a whole bunch of different works that are just, I don't know, crazies and a lion and the unicorn. I don't know. But I'll add on. I'll stop right here and come back and be able to finish it up. Oh, and he died in August 12th, 2018, which was a day before I started, let me say, getting into conspiracy theories like JFK, 9/11, and stuff like that. So that was a day before I got into all that. But this is just a whole bunch of coincidences, of course. And I'll finish up with these next. I'll start back up on this. Hello, brothers and sisters. So I just got back. Today is January 3rd, 2019, Thursday. So I went to my last. I'm gonna add all these videos together, so y'all probably just be getting into the middle of this video, of the whole video. But I want to explain why it took so long. I had to go do something in the middle of my last video, and then I never got back to finishing it. And then I went to Colorado for a week from the 23rd through the 1st, and it was amazing. Colorado is so beautiful. The mountains are just a sight to see, you know. But while I was there, I watched these two videos, or two movies per se, and they're pretty much the reason I'm gonna finish this video and like kind of try to draw it all together, because I started with the whole December 21st, and then I got to Michael Scott, and so I'm gonna try to kind of incorporate it all a little bit right here, so I'm not just putting some random stuff together, I guess. But so here's the 2012 phenomenon, which was on December 21st, 2012. So that date is important because it was part of the Mayan calendar was ended on that day. So various astronomical alignments and numerological formulae were proposed as pertaining to this date. A New Age interpretation held that the date marked the start of a period during which Earth and its inhabitants would undergo a positive physical or spiritual transformation, and that December 21st, 2012 would mark the beginning of a new era. And then also the end of the world by the planet Nibiru would. So, and they got a Jacob Israel just put out a video. I haven't watched it yet, but he's talking about this another thing going on with the Nibiru. So, but I guess check that out. And it's important because this movie called Bird Box, which is a big hit with the culture, with everybody today. It was streaming worldwide on Netflix on December 21st, 2018, 6 years after 2012. So just think about that. Other than that, it's the Mesoamerican long count calendar, which ended. So, and they have some more stuff in here explaining it, but I'm not going to get too deep into any of that because I want to go into. So this dude was a Scottish fantasy and science fiction author and writer on opera. So he wrote some books about an account of Christianity arriving in Viking lands, and So it's the Ice King, Run to the Stars, First Bite, The Hammer and the Cross, Spell of an Empire, The Winner of the World. I mean, these titles just have a little bit of meaning, I guess, to me. But the big thing is the author's note to the Lord of the Middle Air. Rowan asserted that he and Walter Scott, who was a Scottish historian, novelist, poet, playwright, and historical novelist, and so some famous titles: Ivanhoe, Rob Roy, Old Mortality, The Lady of the Lake, and some whatever else. But they have a common ancestor in Michael Scott, who is a character in the novel. So this is the Michael Scott. It's a dude from 1175, and he died in 1232. Was a mathematician and scholar in the Middle Ages. He translated Averroes, often Latinized, whatever, and was the greatest public intellect of his day. He served as science advisor and court astrologer to Frederick II, was king of Sicily, king of Germany. He was a Holy Roman emperor too. So, um, they got a lot of good information in here, but I just want to get to the good. He was a churchman who knew Latin, Greek, Arabic, and Hebrew. Uh, Here's a funny little story. In a letter of 1227 recorded by Scott in his Liber Particularius, whatever, Frederick put questions to him concerning the foundations of the earth, the geography and rulerships of the heavens, which is what is beyond the last heaven. Look at that. What is beyond the rulership of the heavens? What is beyond the last heaven in which God sits, and the precise locations of hell and purgatory. I'm sorry, y'all couldn't see me. I don't know how long that was up there. And heavenly paradise. He also asked about the soul and about volcanoes, rivers, and seas. According to the chronicler Fra Salimbene, he attempted to catch Scott out in his calculations of the distance to heaven by scaling from the height of a church tower by it having it secretly lowered. Scott replied by saying that either the moon had gotten further away or the tower had gotten shorter. So he's a pretty interesting guy because he was basically Frederick II, like. But another piece I'm about to get into is the second version of Fibonacci's famous book on mathematics, Liber Abaci, was dedicated to Scott in 1227, same year as that, and it had been suggested that Scott played a part in Fibonacci's presentation of the Fibonacci sequence, which is it. I think it could be called the golden ratio. Is related to the golden ratio. So, but if you know what this sequence is, it goes throughout all the earth, like every like plants and animals and cells and all that. But so Fibonacci tiling appears in the Babylonian tablet of Shamash, which can be overlaid with two orders of golden rectangles. The Ark of the Covenant, described in the book of Exodus, is in golden proportion 3-5 proportions, 3-5. So this sequence is. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, but yeah, it's got a lot of different appearances because of how it's like the number of rabbit pairs from I don't know, but it's pretty interesting seeing nature. You can see the sequences it has and stuff like that. It's a pretty interesting sequence and of numbers. So goes from 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and then however it goes into it goes into that spiral shape. And if you understand with that spiral shape, you'll see it everywhere as you almost everywhere. So, like it's a big symbol for for a certain group of people. But let's talk about Frederick II, who this dude was under, and he was king of Sicily, king of Germany, king of Italy, Holy Roman Emperor, king of Jerusalem. So Frederick's reign saw the Holy Roman Empire achieve its greatest territorial extent. So, uh, so the Crusades progressed. He acquired control of Jerusalem and styled himself its king. And if you understand what Christians these days don't really understand, that how much death and blood is in the Christian name, and how much killing has been done in the name of God. And people look at today's world as, oh well, it's okay, we got where we got, whatever. But if you really look into history, it's been just a bloodbath of religions and people doing stuff in the name of God, which God is love, isn't it? But let me keep going. So December 21st, definitely check him out. Some more information, I'm gonna not try to spend too much time. I feel like I get kind of boring, but and look at these symbols. These emblems, or the coat of arms, are pretty important. But December 21st is pretty interesting. In 69 A.D., the Roman Senate declares Vespasian emperor of Rome the last in the year of the four emperors. And they have a whole bunch of stuff I didn't really go through, but the important thing was the 2012 phenomenon. And so 6 years later, this movie called Bird Box comes out. So here's a little. The film follows a woman played by Sandra Bullock who, along with a pair of children dubbed Boy and Girl, must make it through a forest and river blindfolded to avoid supernatural entities which cause people who see them to die by suicide. So basically, spoiler alert, this movie, it goes through um, Sandra Bullock. She's pregnant, and they start hearing about these mass suicides. So people see this supernatural entity, start hearing their dead family members, and they basically zone out everyone and everything around them and just find any way possible to kill themselves. And even though how terrible that is, and I believe that the film is trying to make you fearful of death and make you want to survive any way possible to um, basically not die. So you're gonna kill other people. You're gonna do whatever you can to survive. And so that's what this world wants us to do. It wants us to be animals. It wants to be murderers and brutal people. But please don't. Please don't. Love is the only way. Love is law. So I believe that these entities, if you look past the evil that they're trying to put into it, there's some great like insight that once you hear these dead people's, well, once you see the supernatural entity, I believe that you get a new perspective. Your eyes start doing this thing, and you can see the spiritual world, and you can understand that this physical body isn't all there is. There's more to the physical body. There's the spiritual body inside of it that's trapped, which is your soul, and that's what's important. So that's why I believe that they were showing people kill themselves, because they understood that this physical world isn't all that's here. So people hear the dead family members kill themselves, and then the people that are watching everything are like they're scared and they don't want to look at all, and they do whatever they can to survive. It's a pretty interesting movie, um, but it's very graphic. And here, let's see. So Mallory follows a mob and is pushed to the ground. She is rescued by a woman named Lydia and led to a band of survivors hiding in the house. However, Lydia sees a creature and commits suicide by entering a burning car. As media communications go offline, the group tries to figure out what has happened. One survivor named Charlie surmises that demons are the cause, is a supernatural and often malevolent being, whatever. And they all concur that simply seeing the creatures can cause humans to go insane and commit suicide. So this dude was talking about how he was writing a book and about the end of the world, and he said the demons were the cause of it, and they all, of course, they're like, "You're crazy, be quiet," blah blah blah. And so once you see it, they also have some crazy people. Like they said that the mentally insane were could see, but they wouldn't kill themselves. I guess because they understood that there was more, and understood that I guess because they're in the mental institution, it was easier for people to just portray that as them being crazy and just, I don't know. But I believe there's more to this movie. If you watch it, you can understand that there's more to it than what's just there, and it ends in a way where it doesn't even explain everything. It just ends, so you can understand that you have to have some more knowledge to watch it and understand it, because some people were mad how it ended because of not understanding what the purpose of the movie was. So I watched this. I'm like, wow, this is a pretty interesting movie. And then I get to Black Mirror Bandersnatch. Okay, and you can see this picture right here. There's a center in your mind, and it comes out. But this movie is absolutely crazy. I definitely suggest you watching it. It is very graphic, also, and spoiler alert. Um, it's about in Bandersnatch, viewers make decisions for the main character, the young performer Stefan Butler, who is adapting a fantasy choose-your-own-adventure novel into a video game in 1984. Other characters include blah blah blah, both of whom blah blah. Let's see. The film is based on a planned Imagine Software video game of the same name, which went unreleased after the company filed for bankruptcy. It also alludes to Lewis Carroll's own works that feature the Bandersnatch character. A piece of science fiction and horror, Bandersnatch incorporates meta commentary, and rumination on free will. And basically, during this film, there is no free will, because if you go certain paths, the movie ends, and you get a choice to go into the other path. So basically, to finish the movie, you have to go in the path that they choose, and that is the free will part, saying that there is no free will in it. And it's crazy because in this movie, you have at one certain point, you have a choice to tell the kid's kind of going crazy because he feels like he isn't in control, and he's at his computer trying to write this video game, and you have a choice to tell him what's going on, and it says, "I'm watching you on Netflix," and he's like, "What are you talking about? It's a streaming thing, and I choose the choice," and he's like, "I don't understand," and he's like, "I'm from the 21st century." And because it's based in 1984, he's saying, "I'm from the 21st century, and it's a TV online streaming, blah blah blah." It explains it, but he still doesn't really understand. And it's crazy because in one section of this movie, I want to read this because it just makes the kid looks. It makes him look crazy, but he said so many truths. Let's see if I can find it. Let's look through these Easter eggs. Uh, and so Black Mirror, the episodes, the series are pretty crazy. I'm gonna read this part later because I want to get into all of this by myself. I haven't read it yet, but um, man, I wish. Let's see if the plot has it. I'm sorry. See, here it is. As he begins to mentally break down and tries to fight against an unseen agent controlling his actions, the viewer has multiple options to explain to Butler from his 1984 computer scene who has been controlling him, one of which being that they are making these decisions for him via Netflix service in the 21st century. The viewer may discover a locked safe that either contains Butler's old toy rabbit or documents about him being monitored as part of an experiment. But I want to get to here it is. Okay, so the viewer may have the option to have Butler take an invitation to visit Rittman. Was a big Colin Rittman was a big video game designer in the movie, and where he lives with his girlfriend and infant Pearl. There, the pair take hallucinogens, and Rittman then talks about secret government mind control programs, alternate timelines, and different paths. To demonstrate his theories on alternate realities, Rittman demands Butler, via the viewer, determine which of them should jump off the balcony. In future scenes, Rittman will be mysteriously absent if he was the one that jumped. And if you jumped, it just your game came out and it was terrible, and um you have to restart in a different path. So you basically have no free will if you want to actually finish the movie in the right way. And it says that somewhere, but the scene where where they take the I think it was acid, but they take it and he starts talking about all this stuff. I definitely advise y'all to get to that point because that what he's talking about is pretty crazy. But this is with the Bandersnatch creature and Lewis Carroll's 1872 novel Through the Looking Glass and his poem The Hunting of the Snark. So the Bandersnatch in the movie is a book written by this dude who murdered his family and whatever. But the demon that appears in throughout the Bandersnatch movie is called Pax, and it's this weird demon that has like both of these creatures combined, basically, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to get to Lewis Carroll, who was better known as his pen name. It was actually Charles Ludwig Dodgson. And he was an English writer of world famous children's fiction, noticeably Alice in Wonderland and sequel Through the Looking Glass. Noted for his facility at wordplay, logic, and fantasy. And the big thing I wanted to let y'all understand is that Carroll came from a family of high church Anglicans and developed a long relationship with Christ Church, Oxford, where he lived for most of his life as a scholar and teacher. So if you really understand uh, what I'm trying to get to, I don't even know honestly, but I'm try to connect it all. So this world is it's a life and death cycle, and people are so fearful of death, which is what this movie's trying to do. Trying to make you fearful of death because we don't understand what's going on, and we don't understand everything. We don't have all the truths, and I believe certain people do at the higher top, and that's why they're doing. That's why they have these all the money in the world, because money is the root of all evil. So of course, the people who have the most money are the people controlling the strings, would it per se, and it's through music, movies, everything. They use imagery, and I just want y'all to understand that there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to be scared of, because everything, good and evil, is working in the favor of the Father and the Mother, the indescribable God, because everything works in the Father's favor. So definitely, I'm gonna put a link to Global Witnesses, some of his videos that are really, if you want to watch them, they're absolutely amazing. And I'm gonna put some other stuff. But I just want to finish this big collection of 3 videos into a way to where I can explain that there's more to what you watch that you might not understand unless you get information and find a different perspective of what they're talking about. But I just thought it was funny that exactly 6 years after this movie comes out, and it's of course is a post-apocalyptic drama thriller film. But search for Christ. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And if you fully understand his message, and if you fully give yourself over to him and to love and to all the good aspects that he's talking about, you're gonna have such a better life, and you won't fear anything, and you'll understand that there's more to than just what you see and what is here in this physical world. And I just want to point this out. I'm wearing my Saints beanie because I'm a Saint. No, the Saints are doing pretty good, and the Florida Lee is pretty big in Louisiana. But so it is. Just keep it going. It's raining outside. It's storming outside. I got nothing better to do. So might as well keep it going. It's the flower, the lily flower, which my dog is named Lily, which is pretty funny. But it's many of Catholic saints of France, particularly Saint Joseph, are depicted with a lily, and so I think it's funny that an NFL football team would name themselves the Saints and make it the symbol of the Florida Lee, when I don't want to get too far into that, but since France is historically Catholic nation, the Florida Lee became at one and the same time religious, political, dynastic, artistic, emblematic, and symbolic, especially in French heraldry. And I might do 2 videos, another bigger video about Mardi Gras today, but don't expect anything. Definitely check this out because it connects to Mardi Gras. But these don't really connect. I just want to show y'all why I'm wearing this beanie, so y'all not like, whatever. But because I love football. I love the Saints. I grew up on football. My football number was 64, and that's part of a lot of numerology and stuff like that. I don't want to get into any of that either, but definitely I'm gonna add all 3 of these videos together. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully it wasn't too boring or too long. I just love you all. I love everybody. because we're all in this together. We're all the body of Christ. We're all one body of the same matter, same spiritual matter, should I say, not physical. Um, I just don't want. I want to spread love. I want to spread forgiveness. I want to spread this good consciousness that we've kind of been distant from, because like I say this a lot, but we've lost our way, and love is the only way to really get back into our spiritual nature, because we are not this physical animal that's brutal and mean and that just wants to murder. We need to eat animals to keep our energy, because this is a electric universe, an energy driven universe, but we don't we shouldn't be mean to other people, other spirits, other people, because like Jesus said, he said the two most important laws in the scripture is love thy God with all your heart, oh my bad, all your mind, the Father, your heart, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And he said with your soul. So Father, Son, Holy Spirit, mind, heart, and your soul, which is all of this. But and the second was love your neighbor as thyself. So when you look at somebody, you need to look at them like they are you, and you need to love them as much as you love yourself. So it's important to love yourself as much as possible, because once you love yourself more, you can love other people more. And the less you love yourself, the more you're gonna hate other people, because you're not okay with what's inside, so you're not gonna be okay with what's outside. So once you're okay with what's inside of you and love yourself and love your just everything part of you, you can start giving out that love to other people, and then they'll see that, wow, he's changed. He's unconditionally loving, like my dog Lily, unconditional love. Huh, Lily? Lily, come on. Lily, come on. Come here. Come here. Come here, Lily. My dog Lily. Unconditional watch. She'll lick me for days. Look, lick, huh? But other than that, y'all, just love. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good New Year's, and just hope for the best. It's all. You just have to have a good perspective on things and be able to portray things positively and not negatively, because the more negative you put out, the more negative you're going to receive. So if you put more positive stuff out, the more positive you're going to receive, because whatever energy you put out, you're going to attract. And that's why love is law. The more love you put out, the more love you will receive. So hopefully y'all feel the same, and I love all y'all. Thank you for watching again.